So yeah, I think I am unmuted and my screen is also shared. So we'll start. So basically today, one second. Uh, I think there is some problem in my internet. I'm not able to connect a lot of. It's quite slow. Anyway, uh, we have to do with it. So as we always do, uh, we'll discuss some questions that were raised during this week's content, week 8, which is primarily around inventory and different inventory models, etc. etc. So, again, basically, uh, as the name inventory suggests, it is something that you keep a stock of. So, basically, uh, there are like different types of inventories. So basically, this was discussed by Professor also. So what you do is like whenever someone says inventory, the first thing that comes to our mind is this thing. How much of inventory you hold in your factory before it is sent to the production, and that is okay because uh, we have been introduced to it like that. But there are different types of inventories. First is which we call as raw material inventory. So raw material inventory, as the name suggests, it is the inventory for all different sorts of raw materials that are stored, so that you can do uh, your production line can uh, be run smoothly. There won't be many delays or gaps in production because of the low inventory. This thing, low inventory stock. So this is what raw material inventory is, and this is quite common. Most of you can understand this, but there is uh, another type of inventory, which is work in progress inventory, or WIP inventory. So this is when uh, when you consider the production that is been going on. So basically, let's say you have a production line and before starting the production line. You get all the raw materials from the inventory. Usually inventory is a separate storage facility where all the materials are stored according to their data sheet, material safety data sheet. And from there, let's say you brought all whatever you need for that day's or that shift's production to the shop floor. So that earlier, this till this part it is raw material inventory. But once, let's say your production line started, and then there is let's say there is some scrap production, or as I told you, I think in previous classes, to reduce the downtime or the changing, which is called as I think changeover time. Some inventory is kept on the shop floor, even though it is not needed there. It is just kept there to increase the this thing overall productivity of your production line. So that comes under the work in progress inventory. And then there is finished goods inventory. So this type of inventory essentially is part of uh, you know it is a part of your finished goods. It is made up of finished goods, so it is part of your warehouses. So warehouses can be in your factory where you immediately store the finished goods in a secured location, or it can be looked into like logistics point of view. So for example, from the factory, it has been sent to the primary warehouse. Then it goes to the secondary warehouse or wholesalers, etc. So finished goods inventory can be considered as both finished goods in the factories as well as in the warehouses. So the main purpose of keeping finished goods inventory is to keep a buffer between uh, fluctuating demand rates. For example, if there are some festivals coming up like Diwali or Christmas, or any other festivals for that matter, usually organizations like to keep a healthy inventory of finished goods in their warehouses, because they, based on their previous sales and demand forecasting, they have an idea that during this period of the year, the demand for the finished goods will be higher. So prior to that dates or that those months, what they do, they produce more quantity than usual of finished goods and they store it in the warehouse. So that comes under the finished goods inventory. So all these three are various types of inventory, but uh, and yeah, one more thing, uh, this inventory management is highly crucial for mass production. See, it is important to have minimum inventory or optimum inventory for batch production or job shop production also. But when it comes to mass production, see, in mass production, the whole objective is to have as much as quantity that you can produce in the given time, right? So if you don't proper your inventory, if you don't manage your inventory properly, whichever type it is, raw material, WIP or finished goods, in case of mass production, the repercussions are very high from financial penalties point of view for your business. Therefore, one point that needs to be kept in mind is when you are talking about mass production or product layouts, their inventory management is very important. It is also important for process layout or job shop or workshop or batch productions, but relatively speaking, for mass production, it is very important. And out of these three inventory types, for the present discussion or for this week's content, this thing is quite important. One second. The raw material inventory, because as a like see, the finished goods and all are okay, but raw material inventory is very crucial. The reason being, if you don't properly manage the raw material inventory, uh, I mean, all other inventories are. 1 second. Yeah, so if you like, when it comes to managing the inventory, raw material inventory is important because if you manage that properly, work in production inventory can be tackled quite easily. It's not that difficult. You just need to thoroughly analyze your production line or your product layout or process layout, whatever it is, and you can reduce the work in progress inventory. But this raw material inventory, if you mess up there, there is no going back, because you can't do anything if you don't have raw materials. So for some industries like, let's say, power plant, coal based power plants, you must have heard many a times in the news that they you know uh, they have a stock of let's say 1 or 2 weeks, but still they are quite worried that this is not enough, and they look for various opportunities to buy this thing, uh, to buy more inventory, to keep more raw material inventory, because they know, see, in case of coal power plants, it's not a 1 day production or 2 day production, okay? It is a continuous production, and then only you can get the benefits of, financial benefits for your plant. So, power plants may run continuously for 2, 3 months. So, it's not like that. That you just started the power plant and you shut off next day because you don't have raw material inventory. Starting the power plant and shutting it down itself is a headache. Itself is a long process, a very complicated process, very risky process also. Therefore, once it is started, generally it is not stopped unless and until it is very serious reason, valid reason, or any maintenance, planned maintenance or something like that. Otherwise, this thing is what do you say? Uh, Coal power plants are not usually stopped. So therefore, they maintain a, let's say, 1 month is also quite normal for them to maintain the inventory, because the financial repercussions of shutting the power plant because the raw coal is not available are are significantly higher than the carrying cost or the total inventory cost associated with the associated with keeping the coal for a month or so. So that's why. Uh, so for any, I would say, not only coal-based industries or power plants, for any commodity-based industry, for example, if you have a petrochemical industry like Reliance or something, they generally procure crude oil from outside and they process it in their refineries, and then they sell the refined products all over the globe. So for them also, raw material inventory is quite important, because if you don't have crude oil, you'll not have any other thing for that particular day or period. So that's why, for if you ask me, this commodity-based business like metals, petrochemical industries, conventional power plants, uh, they they are actually uh, like inventory control, and that raw material inventory control becomes a very important uh, this thing for them, very important factor for that particular industry or factory. So that's why we study this type of different models that were introduced in this weekend, in this week's content. So one model that was introduced was this thing. I mean, I am not going into the detail of this why inventory important and all, why inventory management is important and all. Those things were discussed by the by professor in the class. So basically, if you have a good inventory, first of all, your production line will run smoothly. You'll have desired or maximum output from your production, and that will result in a customer satisfaction because they receive the products at desired time and desired place. then you can, if you have a healthy inventory of finished goods, you'll have a buffer stock as I discussed. Then there will be a smooth production because you have enough inventory in raw materials, etc. etc. Uh, those things I'll not go again. But then comes like different inventory strategies are there. One inventory strategy was this thing discussed by professor was this ABC analysis. So uh, what happens in ABC? Uh, you analyze your whole inventory, uh, and what you do. I'm talking primarily about raw material inventory. Okay, uh, other things I'm not considering. So ABC analysis, it is basically a inventory management based on price of units and quantity. So basically, A category is those type of units in your inventory for which the associated cost is uh, quite high. It can go up to 80%. 60 to 80% is quite normal for class A items. However, if you consider their whole percentage of class A items out of the total inventory in terms of number of units, they will be very small, as low as 5 to 20%. So basically, these are the costly items and not commonly, or the items which are not very large in numbers. They come under class A. Then there are class B items which are like moderate, and class C items are like usual items which don't have much value in terms of overall cost percentage, but their number of this thing is more. Their numbers are more. So if I can give you an example, uh, for let's say for a factory workshop, like normal workshop, if you consider, class A items will be something like imported sensors or tools. So basically, let's say vacuum sensors or high temperature sensors, or particular tools which are not easily available in India or locally available. So these are calibration tools or data acquisition cards. So all those type of tools and sensors, etc., they will be very few in numbers, but their cost will be very high. So these these class A items need to be uh, carefully managed. It should not happen that they are out of stock because they are very important items. Their uh, cost as well as usefulness is more, primarily cost because ABC analysis is there, and so you cannot have more of them because then your inventory cost will go up. But at the same time, considering their scarcity of numbers, you need to have at least a few of them. And then class B can be uh, something like lathes, drill machines, not drill, let's say welding, welding or cutting machines, or punching machines, etc. So these machines are not that costly; they are moderately costly, but their numbers are also not low or not too high, but they come somewhere in between class A items and class C items. And class C items will be like nut bolts, nuts, bolts, washers, uh, wires, etc. So these items are not that costly, but they are they are required in large numbers and they are kept in large numbers also inside in the inventory. So for class C items, you can let them, you can do away with the not focusing on them much, but you need to focus on class A items. You should give them higher focus. Class B items are okay, moderate, and class C items, they are very usual items. Do need to be particular about it. But see, there is this ABC analysis. There are many this type of analysis. One is called as VED analysis. I will not go into the depth of these things because these were not discussed in the class, and I think they are not part of your syllabus. But you should know that this ABC analysis is one of the analysis that is done for inventory. There are various other types of analysis also. One is called as VED analysis, which is vital, essential, and desirable. VED stands for vital, essential, desirable. So as the name suggests, in this case, you classify your inventory items based on criticality of their functions. If there is a very critical component in your production line without which your whole line will be stopped, and to replace that component, it will take a lot of time. So that comes under vital category, and you need to manage the inventory of vital items carefully. Essentials are okay, they are also important, but they are not as vital as the vital items. The desirables are quite uh, items which can be, even if they are not present, your production line will not be affected. But if they are present, it's additional benefit, something like that. Then there is uh, what do you call? There are fast FSN they call. So these are like fast, slow, and non-moving. Fast, slow, non-moving items. So as the name suggests, if there are some items which are frequently consumed, and some are like slowly consumed, and some are like not at all consumed, so then you focus on this. See, these non-moving items, if they are not frequently consumed, you can reduce them so that you can save the carrying cost for them in your inventory. Whereas if some items are frequently or fast consumed, there you can pay more attention. So like this, there are many other types of classifications. Just in time is there, minimum safety stock, then other things like economical order quantity. So many are there, but we only need to worry about something like ABC because it was taught in the class. But you can go, if you Google, you'll find other techniques also. Depending on which industry you're operating in, you need to select a suitable classification, this thing, inventory classification methodology for yourself. There is no universal methodology that suits for all the businesses. It is actually a discretion of particular industry or particular business. So then, I think this was like the theory part. After that, uh, there was this thing. Different models were discussed. So basically, QR model, but these are like we will also talk about that. But before that, we should talk about the price. If you consider inventory cost, uh, so there are different prices associated with the inventory cost, and our overall objective is to reduce the price of the total inventory cost so that you will have optimum performance with minimum inventory cost, and your overall margins will improve, right? Profit margins. So different costs associated with the inventory are various costs associated with inventory. I see Ganesh has joined. Uh, so Ganesh, would you like to say something like any cost that you can consider for inventory? Hello, Ganesh. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ganesh. So, when I say various costs associated with inventory, what does come to your mind?
Uh, Let me think of 1 second, sir. I think
Yeah.
so. I think material handling cost.
Okay, that is also one of them. That is actually this inventory carrying cost. Anyway, so first cost is item cost. Uh, it's not a strictly inventory related cost, but we have to consider it because usually this inventory carrying cost uh, is expressed as a percentage of item cost. For example, if you are purchasing something which is cost, which like if it is a 100 rupees component, when you store it in your inventory, it there is some inventory cost associated with storing it, which is called as inventory carrying cost. So that is given as, let's say, 5% of the item cost. So uh, usually in the formulas, this is given as I, this is cost as C, this is cost per unit, and I is also percentage of, usually it is in percentage of unit cost. So like that, so basically inventory carrying cost is a cost associated with storing that number of units. So that can be, this the rent that you pay for inventory if it is not your own, or if it is your own, uh, the 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 cost that you pay for air conditioning, lighting, sorting, etc., material handling, as you said. So those all will come. Usually they are clubbed into this inventory carrying cost, where there is procurement cost. So basically, I think this is denoted by S in the formulas. So procurement cost is, let's say you want to purchase 100, uh, like 1,000 units, but now we have to decide how many number of uh, orders you need to put. If you give 10 orders of 100, or if you give like 2 orders of 500 units. So the cost associated with number of orders comes under the procurement cost. Then this important one more thing is the stock out cost. Actually, stock out cost is difficult to quantify because, as the name suggests, stock out cost is a cost which is incurred when your raw material is not present at all. So that time what happens, your production line stops and you have a loss in terms of production, and if you have some critical deadline to meet, you will not be able to, and then there is a loss of your reputation in the market that this company does not deliver the products on time. Whatever may be the reason, if it is a genuine reason or not, that doesn't matter actually, because market is a competitive place. If you can't deliver on time, your reputation will be damaged to a certain extent. If you are a company with monopoly, that if you don't have any competitors in the market, that's a different story. There, the stock out cost may be not much for you because only you are supplying that component in the market. So people have to wait. But if it is a component which is easily available, for example, if you are making soap, and if you go to a market and you see that, let's say, this Lux soap is not available today, then you will not wait for Lux to come to the market, right? What you will do, you'll say, okay, if Lux is not available, I'll go with the Lifebuoy. If Lifebuoy is also not available, I'll go with Dettol. If Dettol is not available, I'll go with Pierce or something. So there, the competition is tough, right? So if you don't deliver products on time in a highly competitive markets, this stock out costs will be significant for you. But for the sake of our discussion, we'll just consider a cost which is resulted when you don't meet your this thing delivery dates. So these are important costs that are there. Uh, then you know the total cost is basically function of all these three. So you can say item cost, but generally it is fixed, right? Unless and until discount is given. So this is like this. For our whole discussion, we have not considered any stock out cost. So because if you consider that, it's difficult to quantify, and that becomes another discussion itself. So primarily, this item cost is also fixed, uh, except in case of discounts. So what do I mean by discount? You must have heard this, right? If you buy two products, they will charge you, let's say, 10 rupees per product per unit. But if you buy, let's say, 200, if you are buying in bulk, they'll give you some discount because their business is increasing. Rather than selling 2 units, they are selling 200 units, right? So whatever cut they were getting for 1 unit, now they'll get it for 200 units. So they'll give you some discount so that you will be happy, I'll be happy. So if that happens, then the unit cost also changes, and inventory cost is a function of unit cost, so that also changes. But typically, this total cost is TCE is basically a function of procurement cost and this carrying cost, which is I, inventory carrying cost, like that. So based on that, there were some, yeah. So I'll not put S here because that is confusing. I'll just put procurement cost and carrying cost. So there is a famous curve in this topic, which is this. So what happens? As I told you, carrying cost is a function of number of items that you keep in an inventory. If you have less items to keep in your inventory, you'll use less space, you'll give less rent, you'll have lesser light bill, you'll have lesser AC bill, you'll have lesser manpower requirement for storing that number of units. So therefore, carrying cost increases linearly with uh, order quantity. So basically, if your order quantity is high, you'll have to pay more carrying cost, right? And this is, let's say this is cost. We'll not put which cost because that's the analysis we are doing. So carrying cost increases linearly with the order quantity, whereas this procurement cost decreases with the order quantity, because as I told you, if you have 1,000, uh, if you need to order 1,000 units in 1 year, you can order it like 500 units 2 times or 100 units 10 times. But this procurement cost is a function of number of orders. If you put more number of orders, you'll have to have more procurement cost. And if you have like bigger orders or order quantity is high, then your number of orders will go down and your procurement cost will go down. So therefore, it decreases with order quantity, procurement cost. And total cost, since it is a function of these two, usually it will be like this. Not like this. It is slightly like this. So it will like decrease and then it is like linear. Huh, something like this. So this will be total cost. And the point at which the total cost is minimum is called as optimum order quantity. So if you put order for this much quantity each time, you'll end up with the minimum total cost. That is given by Q star usually. And yeah, I think yeah, then there are different these things, different models. One simple model, this called as what do you call this, QR model, I think. uh, 1 second. Yeah, so I mean there were different models that were discussed in the class, and actually they are quite preliminary models. Okay, so there are many assumptions. The one assumption that is important and usually overlooked is when you study this type of models or the models that were discussed in the class, they are they were like single product models. So basically, when you say I'm going to place order for 100 units, those 100 units are of same product. There is no product variation. It's not like there are like 50 quantities of product A and 50 quantities of product B. So therefore, the the important assumption was it is a single stock point. It is a single stock analysis. Then the item cost is constant. In like if there is a discount, then hello,
Sir,
yeah, Ganesh, tell me.
so this procurement cost, can you explain me again? That I couldn't understand what this procurement cost, but if the quantity of the products, sorry, or items increases, procurement cost decreases. Is that right, sir? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so okay, if you are confused, see procurement cost. I'll just put procurement cost can be considered as a you have to raise PO, which is purchase order, right? There you need to specify which vendor you are getting the order from, uh, what is the technical specifications, what are the taxes, what are the delivery charges. So, I mean, those are separate costs, but PO is a document which contains all this information and it is made by a accountant like person. So, the cost associated with that PO is also a procurement cost. Then there are vendor registration costs because usually these are one-time costs. But if you are going to procure order from various vendors, and if they are going to change continuously, then you'll vendor cost will also go up. It's not only register cost. I should not put it as a registration cost. It's a vendor cost. So all the costs associated with the vendor. Then this technical specifications related costs uh, like if you are going to put an order and for putting that order you need some technical help from some external third party, then that cost also will, because see this third party will charge you based on the number of times you ask them for the help, right? Even if it is the same help, even if it is the same document, they will charge you a number of times, right? So therefore what happens, and there are like uh, uh, these postages or uh, transportation costs. So these like basically what happens. See, I think you are getting confused in number of orders and all. So let's say you have demand of 1,000 units per year. This much you need. This is usually demand is given by the letter. And now let's say option one, uh, you put let's say 10 orders. You decide to put 10 orders, okay? So and let's say procurement cost per order is let's say 500 rupees, okay? So now what is your order quantity? This is generally inputted by Q. So it will be total demand divided by number of orders, which is this is 1,000 units and you have 10 orders, right? So that will be 100 units per order, right? But what will be your procurement cost? Total procurement cost it will be like 500 into 10, right? Because you are putting 10 orders, and for putting each order you need to pay 500 rupees. So the total procurement cost for 1 year will be 5,000 rupees, right? So now you have option 2. So in this option, what you decide? No, no, I don't want to put 10 orders because that is not required. I need to put less number of orders. Let's say I put 4 orders for whole year, and production, this procurement cost per order is, it will remain same, right? It doesn't change with number of orders, right? Because you'll have to repeat all these activities again and again for putting a new order. So now, what is your order quantity? Let's just put Q1 here and PC1 here, and here your Q2 will become 1000 by 4, which is 250, right? 250 units per order, and your total procurement cost for a year will be 500 into 4, which will be 2000 rupees, right? So now, can you compare? See, when you put bigger quantity order, let's say in the option 2 you put 250 units, right, instead of 100 units in the first option. There, what happened? Your total procurement cost got reduced because your number of orders was reduced, right? Here your orders were, let's say, N1, which is 10, and here it was N2, which is 4. So is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Sir, here the item cost is fixed, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, you can assume it to be fixed, but since we are talking
Hmm.
procurement cost is not a function of item cost. This inventory carrying cost, which was this second cost, inventory carrying cost, that is the function of item item cost, or the per unit cost. But the procurement cost is a function of number of orders.
Okay, sir. Okay, I got it now, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Sir,
depend.
again, other thing is that the particular thing about this stock out cost, sir.
Yeah,
Is this only depend upon the raw materials that we are not having, or else the finished products too?
yeah. See, this discussion is primarily regarding raw materials. That's why I said it is the raw materials cost. But you're right. It can be stock out cost can be related to raw material inventory, or work in progress inventory, or finished good inventory. Any of these three will have stock out cost, but we are here concerned about the raw material inventory. Therefore, we are considering that much only. But it is valid for all.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So
Okay,
now,
sir. So
yeah,
with the quantity of like with the quantity, procurement cost increase, sorry, decreases, right?
yes. So the red line,
Yes, sir.
if you order in bulk, you will have to place less number of orders, and then your procurement cost, which depends on number of orders. If you put less number of order, less procurement cost you will have to pay. So therefore, it goes down. Whereas if you, let's say, earlier what you decided, same example. Let's say I have 1,000 units of requirement, and I'll order 10 units. Let's say in 1 month I am ordering only 100. So for that month, your inventory storage had only 100 units, right? And those units got consumed in 1 month. So you put an order next month, you got 100 units, and those were consumed in that next month. So overall, in your inventory, maximum you are handling 100 units in at any point of time, right? But what happens if you put like 250 units of order in one time at one go? You have to store 250 of them, right? When they arrive. So there, you need to have bigger space. You need to have uh, better lighting, better air conditioning, or more manpower you need to hire for storing that. So therefore, the carrying cost, which is given by the black line CC, that goes up because of higher order quantities. Understood?
Okay, okay, sir. That's so clear, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now we'll we'll talk about one important this thing. So we understood these different costs. So what happens now? See, as I said here, there is one particular cost or a particular order quantity Q star. If you order that much, you will have minimum inventory cost, right? So now the question is, how do you get that? Because if you know that, it's your life will be easy, right? So for that, there are different models. It is so basically what you do depending on your business, you do some assumptions. For example, yeah, I'll put the title as determination of optimum order quantity, which is given by the symbol Q star. So there is first model, which is this model, QR model. I think name is not important. You should understand what this model is and how practical it is. So what this model assumes, there is uh, the x-axis you have this thing, what you call, maybe you can consider time on x-axis, and on y-axis you have this q, which is number of items in your inventory. So this model assumes that you will like I'll write down the assumptions. So what this model assumes is, as I told you, it is a single product analysis. So if you have, let's say, 5-6 products in your inventory, you have to do this analysis for them separately, each. Then there is another assumption, like item cost is constant. So we are not assuming any discount or anything. So that is there. Then there is this thing called as no stock out cost, because here what we are assuming is instant replenishment. So basically, when your inventory goes to zero, we are assuming that you will get the inventory in no time. So basically, what you call, you can consider this analysis to be valid for items such as, let's say, nuts and bolts. For example, if you are running a manufacturing workshop, so there and you are doing this analysis for, let's say, a particular type of nuts and bolts, which are very easily available in the market, and as soon as you order some vendor, within 1 hour he will give you the desired number of nuts and bolts. So there is instant replenishment of the this thing product when you place the order, and there is lead time is ekdam zero, negligible lead time. And if this product is not there, uh, if it is out of stock, then also you can manage with some other type of nut bolt. So therefore there is no stock out cost associated for that type of product. So this is valid for very not so important type of products. So in that case, what will happen? Let's say at initially at zero time you had maximum inventory and you started consuming it. So after a point,
Sir,
yeah,
sir, a small doubt about these private inventory shops. Like, is there any inventory sectors which are private, uh, which could supply the manufacturing industries instantly? Is there any?
yeah. Where are you from? Which area you are
I'm
from?
I'm from Andhra Pradesh, sir, Guntur.
Okay, so there any nearby industrial area is there?
Yes, sir. Sri City, which is near to
Uh,
Tada.
okay, so assume that you are running a workshop in Sri City, manufacturing workshop. You are manufacturing, let's say, small components. It's a so as I told you, you need, let's say, 10 dia nut bolts. So
Yes, sir. Mm.
I am sure in Sri City, once you know just do a simple Google search, you'll get 5-10 vendors which can supply you nuts and bolts within 1 hour, because it's an industrial hub, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I cannot comment exactly on what type of suppliers are there, but I'm sure you can get that very quickly, because that item is not that specific or not that custom made. It is quite usual item, so you can get it right.
Yes, sir. So, what about these, foreign exchange goods, which are raw materials, like from, uh, like in Pushpa, the first thing they show us like from India we get this, tree oaks to the Japan, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So then they stock it the particular inventory, like in inventory shop. Then they go to the manufacturing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So in that case, see,
Yeah.
what will happen? Just let me draw these lines first. So
Yes, sir.
basically, yeah. So what happens initially? You had uh, first talk about the this example of nut bolts, which are easily available. Okay. So let's say you reach the time T1, you realize that, oh, my nut bolts are over. So what you do? You call up any vendor and you get the desired amount in no time. So this quantity again goes to the Qmax level on the same day, and then again you start consuming it, right? So that is for uh, this type of products where instant replenishment is possible. But coming back to your case, in which let's say this item is like sent out in abroad somewhere, and in that case, what happens? The replenishment is not instant, right? The company which is ordering this particular product, they know that the product is going to come from India, and it will take at least 2-3 weeks, right? So what they do, they keep track of their inventory level, and there will be a time. Let's say I'll use different color. Let's say this is the inventory level that they are monitoring. Let's say Q minimum. So they will not wait till your inventory goes to zero, because they know, right, they cannot get the item on the same day. If they don't place the order properly, they'll have to wait for 2-3 weeks, right? So that will be loss for them. So in that case, what they do, they keep some minimum quantity in their inventory. So one day they will realize, oh, our inventory quantity has reached our minimum Q value, and then they will place the order. So what will happen? Uh, they'll keep on consuming the remaining order, right? Because they still have some queue remaining. But what happens, as they reach T1 here, the order from the India will be delivered to their this thing, workshop or whatever, factory or whatever. So in that case, again this will go up, because they received the order from India, right? So the
Sir.
only
Yes.
difference is they will not wait till their whole inventory is gone. What they do, they keep track. See, this time difference between these two levels is what we call as lead time. So lead time is basically, that if I place order today, I will get the product by, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So they order the product in 2-3 weeks advance. That's how it goes.
Sir, in this case, with the lead time, do the Qmax could come down a little bit?
No, Qmax is not a function of lead time, right?
Hmm.
See, uh, Qmax is a function of how much inventory space you have in your inventory place.
Sorry, sir, not with the lead time, but so we are using this Q. Okay, sir. Sorry for that. I understand. I understand.
Understood, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no need of sorry and all. It's okay. So, anyway, so then at like this point at which you order is called as reorder point, which is given as R. So basically, there is this whole mathematical derivation and all. So at the end of that, what you get is Q star as, which is the optimum uh, order quantity, is the root of 2SD by IC. Here S is procurement cost, D is total demand, I is carrying cost, and C is unit cost or item cost. So like we don't have that much time, that's why I'm not doing the derivation. You can go back and see, it is there. Basically you put the total cost as a function of this procurement cost plus carrying cost, and then you put in all the variables and you differentiate to get the Q star. And when you put the Q star back, you get the total cost, which is the minimum value that I showed here by this blue line, blue dot. It is, I think it is as, 1 second, let me just confirm it. Yeah, so it is 2D SI, or you can call it IC. So basically, all the variables that you see there, you just put everything and multiply and take square root. So this is assuming the replenishment. Like if you place the order on T1, you will get it in no time. But what happens? Usually that is not the case for all the items, right? There will be gradual replenishment. So basically, what I mean is, let's say you ordered 100 quantities on a particular day, assuming that you need them by 2-3 weeks. So what the supplier will say to you is, sir, I don't have 100 quantities ready because that is a large order for me. So what you do, I have, let's say, I can manufacture 10 orders per day. So what I'll do, I'll not give you like 100 orders in one time. I will manufacture 10 orders every day and I'll give you. So he will gradually fulfill his uh, out this thing, right? Uh, your inventory requirement, which is of 100 units, it will not be instantly replenished because that is not possible practically in this for such type of items. So the supplier will say, I'll give you 10 items every day, and for 10 days I'll supply so that you'll get 100 items, right? So that is what gradual replenishment uh, model is. So basically, uh, what happens? Let's say you do like this. So this is again your Qmax, maximum inventory, and this is your time. So in this case, uh, there is a there is not an instant replenishment. The replenishment is what you say, slowly. So basically, uh, like when you reach this point where your inventory becomes zero, what you say, what you do, you place the order, but instead of getting the order fulfilled in one line, vertical line, which was earlier like this vertical red line, you can see here it doesn't happen that way because practically it is not possible. So then you'll get gradually from the vendor, and again you'll reach Qmax, and then this vendor will say, okay sir, I have given whatever you asked. So then he will stop, right? And then again you'll consume that inventory on a gradual basis according to your requirement, and then again your inventory go down, then again you place the order. So like that it goes. So this is called as this thing, uh, what you say, gradual
Gradual.
replenishment. Yeah. So here when you consume, it is consumed based on your consumption rate. So D is your consumption rate. And when it is supplied by the supplier, see, you will not wait for him to give all the items. What you'll do, when he supplies 10 items on the first day, you'll consume, let's say, 5 of them. So this P is called as replenishment rate, and this model or your this thing, the in like practical terms, this analysis will hold on only if, so basically the necessary condition here is P should be greater than D. So basically your replenishment rate should be higher than the consumption rate. Ganesh, can you tell me what happens if your replenishment rate is not higher than the consumption rate?
We might the thing stock out. Is it? We might get loose of every.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you are correct. So basically, let's say uh, we'll take simple example. No, let's say we have P of 10 units per day, and case one is if you have D of 5 units per day. So what will happen on day one when the supplier will give you 10 units, you will consume 5 of them, and remaining 5 will be in your inventory, right? So you will have inventory stock of 10 minus 5, which is 5 units per day. But in, let's say, second case, if your consumption rate is 50, so you will not have any inventory stock, right? Because inventory stock will be like, see, it will be zero because he is giving you 10 and you can consume 15. So what you will do, you will consume 10 as soon as they come. There will be no inventory, and there will be loss of production for 5 units per day. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, this assumption, I mean, this diagram that I have drawn here, Q max versus time, it holds true only if your P is greater than D. And this will be your reorder point. And for this also, the analysis is repeated to get the optimum order quantity. Here, there is, because the analysis is quite similar, uh, there is not much of a difference in the formula and all. The formula is just similar to the previous one, which is 2SD by IC, but there will be one ratio that comes here, which will be uh, P minus D by P. Uh, and see, the only difference is this ratio, right? So as I told you, here we are considering P greater than D, right? So therefore, P minus D is greater than 0, and uh, like I just want to give you an idea that what will happen to this ratio. The numerator is P minus D, and in the denominator you have P. So this is equal to 1 minus D by P, right? And since D is smaller than P, this ratio will be less than 1. So the whole point was, because of this ratio, which is less than 1, when you have a gradual replenishment instead of uh, instantaneous replenishment, your Q star gradual replenishment case will be lesser than Q star instantaneous replenishment. Uh, this can be like a small gate question also. So I just thought I'll bring it to your notice. And again, for this uh, total cost is also, mm, I think total cost, in the total cost scenario, this becomes ulta, I think. I have to check this, but I think this ratio becomes ulta here, P by P minus D. because the denominator quantities come up, right? So yeah, so here see, in case of instantaneous replenishment, uh, on an average you are carrying less inventory. Here you carry more inventory, so your total cost is slightly higher. Anyway, so this is the whole theory. We'll do some questions because
Sir,
yeah.
so from all these parameters, from the item cost to the stock out cost, so what we are saying, what is the main objective to the inventory that we are doing with these all parameters, sir?
Your objective is to find a, like, see, as I showed you earlier, if you place 10 orders of 100 units, your procurement cost is 5,000. So then what you do, you decide to put only 4 orders so that your procurement cost come down. But what happens, since you are carrying 250 units instead of 100 units at any point of time, your carrying cost is more, right? So then the analysis, that this formula and all, the whole point is to find a optimum quantity size where you will uh, you will not end up with the you'll end up with the minimum inventory cost. So our objective is to have minimum inventory cost based on these assumptions. So we'll take some examples, maybe that will make it more clear.
Okay.
So okay, first example, we'll start with the easier ones. This is question 1, not the quantity symbol, don't get confused. So here, for your uh, factory, annual demand is 40,000 units. Uh, Unit price is 2.5 rupees per unit. Procurement cost is rupees 5 rupees per order, and this uh, carrying cost is 80% of C, which is unit price. So 80% of 2.5, which is 1 second, 80% of 2.5, which is 2 rupees. So 2 rupees per unit is your carrying cost. Then okay, yeah. So then they say the production rate is 50,000 units per year. And uh, now the question is asked is, you need to find what is the optimum order quantity according to this gradual replenishment model. So now see, you know the formula, right? Here this procurement cost is nothing but the S. So if you look at the formula, uh, what do you say? I mean, 1 second. Huh? I see 2 into 40,000 into 5 into P. Okay, 1 second. Did I make a mistake somewhere in the formula? 1 second. Huh? I I think there is something wrong in the this ratio P minus D by P. What is it?
Sir, up and so you have written I think so. It's P minus D by P, right? No, no, no.
One second. Uh, I'm looking at the derivation. So Q square goes there. P by P minus D. Yeah, it is ulta. It should be P by P minus D. So this is okay. Because your Q square go there, P by P minus D. Yeah, this was a problem. So now this ratio is less than 1, so ulta will become greater than 1. So your minimum order quantity in case of gradual replacement will be higher. And here it will become ulta. It will be P minus D by P. Sorry for this, but I think there was some confusion here. So now, uh, and actually, if we are okay, we'll solve this. So as per the formula, it is 2SD divided by IC into P by P minus D. Now, see, this IC, if you are taking already 80% of C, you can just write I, which is a carrying cost. So now you have everything. You have S, D, I, but P is also given in the question, but you don't have this small d, right? So what is the small d? It is a consumption rate, right? So how will you find it? Any idea, Ganesh?
Sir, I think the with the Q max. No.
No. So
Oh,
see, the trick in this question is, see, this production rate is given in terms of year, right? So what the question is saying is, you need to manufacture 50,000. You need to produce 50,000 units per year, but your demand per year is capital D only, right? Which is 40,000 units per year, right?
yes, sir.
So here the trick was that only your capital D and small d are same only because we are talking in terms of a year. So therefore you can just plug in the values and 2 S was I think 5. Then demand total demand is 40,000. Then small p was 50,000 divided by inventory cost was 2 per unit, and P minus D is 50,000 minus 40,000. So if you do the calculation, you will get Q star as, see, this 2 will go, this 10,000 that will be 5. So 25 into 40,000, which will be 100, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, no, 10 lakhs, 10 to the power 6. Square root will be 10 to the power 3. So it will be 100 units. So this is Q star. Now, as you were asking, what is our objective? So this is the optimum order quantity. So number of orders uh, that you need to place, that is to be placed, will be, this will be again optimum, will be D by Q star. So your total demand was 40,000 units, and you are placing an order of 1,000 units in one order. So you need to place 40 orders, right? So then your total cost TC, which is function of PC plus carrying cost, for this Q star, when you have 1,000 number of units per order, this TC will be minimum, so it will become TC star. And now see, procurement cost is 5 rupees per order, and you are putting 40 orders. So it will be 5 into 40. This is your procurement cost. And carrying cost is, uh, you said you need 2 rupees per unit, right? And you are procuring 40,000 units. Right now. So your one second. Yeah, I'm sorry. Here you can just take, you cannot take D directly like this. It is an like carrying cost per unit into average inventory, right? Because see, your inventory will one second. What happened? Oh, see, your inventory will look like this triangle, no? So when you compute a carrying cost, what you do, you take average inventory and multiply with the unit cost. So average inventory here will be Q max plus Q min by 2. So Q max, okay, I'll write it. Average inventory, uh, average inventory, and that will be Q max plus Q min by 2, which will be equal to Q max will be P minus D into Q by P plus 0 by 2. So basically, it will be P minus D into Q by 2P. So this is your average inventory. So when you calculate the cost, I'll just do it here. So 2 into P minus D into Q star by 2P. 2 gets cancelled. So yeah, P minus D is 10,000 and P is how much? 50,000. So 10,000 by 50,000 will be 1 by 5. So it will be 1,000 by 5. 1,000 by 5 is 200. So this is your carrying cost, total carrying cost. So your total cost will be uh, 40 into 5 is again 200 plus this carrying cost of 200. It will be 400 rupees. Okay. So now you may say that, okay, I don't trust your analysis. You may be wrong. Uh, what if I order instead of 1,000 units? What if I ordered, let's say, Q2 of 2,000 units per order? You can do that, right? You don't trust this analysis. You say no, this analysis is wrong. I'll order more per I'll order more quantity per order. So if you order 2,000 units per order, the number of orders that you need to put is uh, 40,000 by 2,000, which will be only 20 orders. You need not put 40 orders. And average inventory that you carry will be again this P minus D into Q by 2P, right? But here your Q will be 2,000, no? So this P minus D was 10,000 divided by 2 into P was 50,000. And here your Q is, which is the order quantity, is 2,000 instead of 1,000 because you are ordering more per order, almost double. So here this will go away and it will be 2,000 by 10, which will be 1,000 rupees. Oh, no, 1,000 units. This is your average inventory, right? So now the total cost here will be 5 rupees per order into 20 orders. This is your procurement cost. Then 2 rupees per unit of inventory, and you have 1,000 units in your inventory. So now you have, this is 100, this is 2,000. So you have the total cost of 2,100, which is greater than the optimum total cost, which was only 400 here.
Sir,
So yeah,
uh, what you, sir, is this total cost mean about what we're ordering, right?
this is total inventory cost basically. So this is not
Okay.
considered, yeah. So this is not considering the total cost of the item, because
Okay.
anyway you are going to order 40,000 units, right? So
Hmm.
that cost will be same only. So what
Okay.
you can minimize is how much inventory cost, like how much order inventory order per, like how much inventory quantity you need to put per order, so that the total inventory cost is minimum. So the my point was here that when you do the mathematical calculation and you get the Q star of 1,000 units per order, that guarantees that your total cost will be minimum. So just to prove that point, I took the order quantity which is different from the mathematical formula, and by doing that calculation, you can see here only, right? Uh,
Yes.
Earlier you are paying 400 rupees per year. Now you are paying 2100, which is 5 times. So therefore, it is not a good idea to order 2000 units per order. It is better to go with the 1,000.
Yes, sir. It's
So
nice. I think.
yeah. So yeah, one more thing that I missed, I'll briefly touch upon that is what happens, as I told you, no, when you purchase something in bulk, you'll get a discount. So the whole thing that we discussed so far, it was under the assumption that when you purchase, let's say this question only, when you purchased 40,000 units, let's say you put an order of 1,000 units, uh, you know, this thing. We'll do a case study. Uh, so the title is like, the point that I want to convey is effect of discounts discount on unit price for bulk orders. So what happens? Let's say you go to the supplier or vendor and you say ki I need my total requirement for 1 year is 40,000, and I have done some calculation, and what I have realized is if I order 1,000 units in one order, uh, then my total cost is lower for inventory carrying cost. So you ask the supplier to supply you with the 1,000 quantities every time for 40 times, because your number of orders are 40. But what happens? The supplier says, sir, why are you buying 1,000 quantities in one order? You do one thing. Uh, See, when you buy 1,000 quantities in one order, I am giving you the unit price of 2.5 rupees per unit. But he says, if you buy 1,500 units per order, I will give you 5% discount, so that instead of 2.5, you will have to pay, let's say, 2.2 rupees. So then your whole analysis changes, right? Because this whole formula, this is given here for Q star, TC star, etc., etc. These formulas are for constant unit price, but by getting, like by slightly ordering higher, this thing, what you call, uh, like instead of ordering 1,000 units in one order, if you are getting a discount by ordering 1,500 units in one order, then uh, then the thing is not as easy as it looks. We'll just take one example in 5 minutes and we'll break. So we'll take first case, which we already discussed, where the demand was 40,000 units, uh, and your unit cost was, I'll just put subscript 1 here. Unit cost was 2.5 rupees per unit, and your inventory cost was 80% of C1, which was 2 rupees per unit.
Sir, your inventory cost means inventory carrying cost.
Yeah, inventory and carrying cost for 1 unit.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, and then what else? Yeah, your uh, or procurement cost was 5 rupees per order, and so you did the calculation. Your production rate your production rate was 50,000 units, and your D was like consumption rate was same as the total demand, because we are talking in units per year. So we did this calculation and we got Q star as 1000, right? Q star is 1000, and our total cost was around 1400 rupees per order. No, total cost was 400. It is not for order or anything. It is total cost. Now the supplier says that, sir, don't order 1000 units per quantity. What you do? He gives you an offer, which is second case. He says, ki, sir, I'll give you the unit cost of.
Sir.
Huh.
Sir, the total cost 400 per order, right?
No. See, the total cost we multiplied by 5. Like we had 40 orders, right? And for each order we had to pay 5 rupees, right, for procurement cost. So this TC is for whole. It is not per order. It is
Yes,
for
sir.
all number of orders.
Okay.
So here I am giving you a situation where you get a discount on bulk purchase. So what he says, ki, sir, you don't order 1000 units. I'll give you offer. If you order, let's say, 1500 units per order, I'll give you a discount of uh, whatever it is, but I'll give you the product at 2 rupees per unit. So now you have an, like, see, now whatever earlier analysis we did, it is not valid here, because now you are getting discount. So now you have to repeat the calculation. How will you do it? See, your inventory cost will be again 80% of the C2, right? So that will be 1.6 rupees per unit. This is carrying cost. Your procurement, your procurement cost is still same, because that will not change. Even if you order, that will not change much if you order like 1000 units or 1500 units. So now again your production rate and all are same only, 50,000 units, and your D2 is again equal to capital D2. So the only thing that is changing is this C value and your number of orders. So earlier you were ordering 40 orders. Now since you are getting 40,000 units and you are ordering 1500 units per lot, per order, so you will be ordering 400 by 15, 400 divided by 15, which is 27 orders basically. It is 26 point something, but we'll order 27 next whole number. So now instead of 40 orders, you are ordering only 27 times, and you are getting discounted price also. So now what is your total cost? So one more thing that we should not forget here is, see, this 400 rupees is only for the inventory, but the total cost will be, uh, see, earlier in all these calculations the C was not changing, right? So we were only considering the total inventory cost, but now here C is changing, so we have to consider the cost, which is 40,000 into 2.5, right? That is the rate of one unit. So 40,000 into 2.5, which is 1 lakh. So basically your total cost was 1 lakh for 400 rupees. I hope I am clear what I'm trying to convey here. And if you
No, sir,
do the
it's
same, clear or not?
it was very clear, sir.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
here, see, now you are ordering 40,000 units at cheaper price, which is 2 rupees per unit. Then your procurement cost is 5 rupees per order, and you have 27 orders. And yeah, we should have calculated the average inventory. So average inventory, the formula is same only. where is it? This P minus D into Q by 2P. So P minus D will be 10,000. Here your Q is changed. It is 1500 and divided by P, which is 50,000. So if you do the calculation, this is 300 divided by 2, which is 150. So now your inventory is 150. On an average, your inventory has 150 units. Earlier you had 1000 units. Okay, did I do some mistake? 10,000 5 2000 divided by 2. Yeah. So oh, okay, 1 second. No, I made one mistake here. Here 10,000 by 5, sorry, 1000 by 5 is 200. So here it should be 200 and here it should be 400. So here it should be 500. Again, I mean, it doesn't matter because only numbers are changing. The whole thing remains same only. So it is 150 rupees, 150 units.
So where did you find that, sir? Found that, sorry.
What are you asking?
So how did you got that concentration? That is that particular thing is wrong.
Here. See, there is. I just did 2000 by 2, but there was this 5 also, right? So it should be 2000 by 10. Earlier I did 2000 by 2. I missed this 5 in the denominator. Anyway,
I'm
it doesn't.
asking.
Huh.
No, sir, I'm asking that we are doing this another thing with the discounts, but
Uh-huh.
but you went on for the other type.
What other type?
Well, other type means like so we are doing
See,
this
no.
discount
See,
problem.
this is gradual replenishment only, but you are getting bulk discount. So this
Hmm.
formula still holds here.
Hmm.
So now, so average inventory is 150, and your inventory carrying cost is 1.6 rupees here because this 80% of C2, and you have 150 units on an average in your inventory, right? So now, if you do this calculation, this 40,000 into 2 is 80,000 plus 27 into 5, which is 135 plus 1.6 into 150, which is 240. So 240 plus 135 plus 80,000. The total comes out to be
80,375, sir.
yeah 80,375. So now just look at these two numbers. One is 80,000 and earlier was 1 lakh 4,400, right? So my point is the point that I wanted to convey was when you get discount, uh, you need to consider the discount carefully because more often than not, if you get a discount while buying in bulk, that is a good idea. Here you are saving almost 20,000 in your inventory cost or total cost associated with inventory and the purchase. So therefore, when the discounts are given, you need to redo the calculations and come up to the decision whether you want to take the discount or not.
Sir, what if our space is too small and we are not getting sorry, like around we have only 1200 units per order. Sorry, 1200 units of space.
Mm-hmm.
Then we should recalculate with the 1200 units per order, right?
Yeah, because if you can't store more than no. See, you need to look at what is your Q max. You cannot say ki see order quantity has nothing to do with your inventory space, right? Your inventory
Hmm.
space is dependent on this Qmax value. On this graph, this Qmax is there, na?
Yes,
So
sir. Yes.
there is a formula for Qmax also in one of the lectures you can see. So you need to calculate Qmax, and if that Qmax is going above your inventory size, then you can't do anything, right? So then you have to take whatever is maximum possible, even though it will be costing you more money.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I
Yes,
think
sir.
we are past time. So shall we stop now?
Yes, sir. Definitely. I was so clear with it. And so, is this the recording comes after you leave the session, or?
Yeah, it is there in the this portal, NPTEL portal.
Yeah, yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. Thank you so much, sir. No, but I just want to go with the problem again. That's it, sir. I just want to note it
Okay,
down. Yeah.
okay, fine, fine. You can do it later. I'll upload it by tonight. Maybe you'll have it in a couple of days available.
Definitely, sir. Good night.
Okay, okay. Good night. Bye. Thank you.